So good morning everyone. Today I am super excited to again host one more webinar in the series of face-to-face webinars that I have planned for the student community in general, those who are preparing for various competitive and scholastic examinations. तो हम लोग अभी तक अनुज शर्मा सर से मिल चुके हैं, हम लोग रोहित चतुर्वेदी सर से मिल चुके हैं. लास्ट टाइम आई हैड माय एक्स स्टूडेंट अदिति अग्रवाल, and now again we have a very special guest, that is my one of the favorite students, Tanmay Garg, with us. I taught him I think 2014 to 2016 in Pune, and he has been a super achiever so far, and I am pretty sure that the way his approach towards life is, he'll be super successful in academically. तो successful रहा ही है तन्मय, but I'm very confident that he'll be successful in professional journey also. So I'll give you brief idea about who Tanmay Garg is. So he's a chemical engineer. He passed out from IIT-Bombay, one of the prestigious engineering colleges in India, and I would say the best engineering college in India, in 2020. His JEE advanced rank was all India rank 1038. So he was pretty close to 1000 rank. He was, I would consider him to be successful in the sense that he could score such a good rank, such a good marks in a highly competitive, one of the world's toughest examinations that we have here. He also scored very good rank in JEE main. I think that time it was IITREE, or was it still JEE main? Tanmay?
It was mains.
It was JEE main only, okay. Then KVPY, Kishore Vigyanik Protsahan Yojana. So this is again one of the very tough examination from the perspective of science students in India. इसमें जो scholarship मिलती है या certificate मिलता है उसका बहुत ज़्यादा weightage है, and it's very competitive. And also he was a NTSE scholar. That means he got state level and national level certificate in NTSE, National Talent Search Examination. Apart from his school studies and board exams, all that, उसमें भी I am very confident, मेरे पास percentage तो नहीं है, but I am sure he must have done excellent in those two exams as well. So academically he was very sound. Then now probably this is your first job, and he is working, so this is his first job. For last 2 years he is working with KOTAK Securities. So Kotak Bank का एक offshoot है KOTAK Securities, and they are one of the top 5 stock brokerages in India, and he is working as project manager. So his job profile in KOTAK Securities will ask him later on, but again he has achieved a lot, because I know KOTAK Securities में job secure करना है, it's again very competitive. So let's start with the interaction for today. तो मैं कम बोलूँगा, and I'll ask Tanmay to interact more with us, and in the last we will have Q&A section. So whatever queries the students might have, they can join our Teams meeting. I have shared the link in the YouTube channel in this particular video, and I have shared that on Telegram channel as well as our WhatsApp group. So I hope students will be benefiting from whatever Tanmay has to say today. Okay, so let's begin. So Tanmay, सबसे पहले आप बताइए कि like how was your academic journey?
So
कहाँ से पढ़ाई की, क्या scores आते थे, and did you really enjoy preparing for those examinations? बताइए थोड़ा उसके बारे में.
First of all, hi everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Starting in my academic journey, I think my real academic journey started when I joined FITG in 9th standard. So that used to be like a weekend study thing where we used to go to the coaching. We used to have different courses, and the aim was that you had to clear NTSE at the end of it. So ninth and 10th, it was smooth sailing. But yeah, I used to really enjoy going to Fiji because it gave me the chance to interact with a lot of smart people in the coaching. Now, in the coaching, there was also grooming that used to happen for the future. And I think this really helped me going towards 11th and 12th standard. After clearing NTSE, my journey started for 11th standard, and I was in the integrated college program with Fiji. So our college classes as well as coaching classes used to happen at the same place. Now, this really, I think, played a big advantage for me because I did not have to travel much because of this. The teachers used to come to our college and teach us there itself. Coming to what next I achieved, I would say KVPY was the next big achievement, so to say. And that I cleared in 12th standard. So in 11th standard, I could not clear KVPY, but in 12th, I was able to finally break through. And I think what really mattered in my academic journey is I really enjoyed solving tests a lot. So whenever I used to get time, say 3 hours, 4 hours, I used to solve a test and then used to spend some time analyzing it. So this has been most of my academic journey. And then ending up at IIT Bombay, of course, I was not at the top of my class, but yeah, I mean, I got through. So got through pretty well. So I think that sums it up.
Thank you. So let me sum up whatever he discussed. That he started early. He was very clear right from the beginning कि मुझे engineering field में जाना है, and he started
Right.
with a short term goal for clearing maybe NTSE in class 10th and Olympiads as well. तो उन्होंने कुछ foundation courses किए. So he did something extra other than school studies. He did some kind of foundational preparation for IIT JEE at that point of time. And he joined a very professional coaching institute, FITG. I also worked with FITG for like 3.5 years, and I was fortunate enough to teach a good bunch of students, including Tanmay. तो environment बहुत role play करता है, where you go, how you interact with the quality of people that are academically oriented towards one particular goal. तो वो environment से it makes you perform better. And then he joined a concept school. In Gujarat we call it as concept school. In different states they are called as integrated school programs. So उसके कुछ benefits भी हैं, कुछ shortfalls भी हैं, but let's not get into it. So his biggest achievement which he feels, apart from being a NTSE scholar in class 10, was he got a boost when he cleared KVPY, because it's very competitive. The number of scholarships that they give, the number of certificates that they give from whole of India is very minuscule. So KVPY clear karna was his first big achievement, I guess. And then later on he cleared JEE Main, JEE Advanced, all that. And giving lot of mock tests helped him. तो मैं बाद में mock test पे will have a separate 5-minute discussion with him. ठीक है. Now Tanmay, tell us briefly about your professional journey and what are your plans for the future. And
Right.
and basically the student wants to know, मतलब मुझे भी कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि like you cleared such a tough examination, then you studied chemical engineering, but right now the domain what I see is that you are a project manager related to some IT projects, I guess,
Right.
for the company. So don't you think that you have made a big career transition, and how did IITs help you, or it is going to help you in your near future for building your career? तो बताइए आपके बारे में थोड़ा.
Right, sir. So my professional journey, of course, started with KOTAK Securities. I got placed in KOTAK through campus placements. Now, the very interesting question that you asked about how I switched to IT project management from chemical engineering. Now, sir, this is the interesting part about IITs, that it opens you up to such a variety of options that you actually have a choice at the end of 4 years which field do you want to go to. So for me, I particularly realized towards the latter stage that in terms of career, I would prefer something other than chemical engineering. I would prefer to go into financial technological companies, fintechs of the new world. So This was one of the reasons why I sat for Kotak Securities during my placements. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to get through. The interviews were smooth, and I joined Kotak Securities. Now, another thing with IIT, sir, is that when you're being explored to different options, right? We used to have webinars, we used to have different seminars with uh, former students as well. So they always used to tell us this one thing: don't let your branch decide your career for you. Just because you've chosen a branch doesn't mean that you have to, at the end of it, go into that branch itself. You always have the option of switching your career, but of course not infinite number of times, just a few number of times. But yeah, you can always switch your careers and go to the field that you really like, you really enjoy. So that's how I ended up in project management. Talking about my role, so my role really involves, so there's multiple requirements that come in. So for a Kotak Securities like company, we provide products to the consumers directly. We have our clients. So to better their trading experience, to better their investment experience, we keep on launching new products. Now, when these products are to be thought of, they are thought of by a different team. And then for the execution part, that comes to me in simpler words. So driving the projects through and through from development phase to actual deployment in the live environment, that comes under the purview of the project manager.
So I would like to sum up what he said for my students. So first thing is that if you, let's say, made a choice, you cleared a very competitive examination and you end up taking one particular branch. In this case, Tanmay took chemical engineering. But the beauty of a premier engineering college is that it gives you exposure of a very different kind, and there is a lot of diversity. You meet very talented people, you get to meet your alumni of the same college, and they act as your mentors. They tell you about how the future of the industry is going to be like. So you should not restrict yourself, or don't keep it yourself under that kind of impression कि मुझे chemical engineering में ही career बनाना है. Maybe because of 4 years of that kind of exposure, you can come up with something which will interest you more. जैसे तन्मय के केस में क्या है, he chose fintech as his career. So he is starting to build his foundation in fintech industry, and he joined one of the best company in India. And presently, if I have to sum up what his job role is without going into technicalities of it, is that he is trying to improve the user experience. क्योंकि आज की डेट में क्या है कि आप जो भी कर रहे हैं, that is not going to stay for long. ठीक है, there was a time when only 2 or 3 brokerages were there in India. You know, lot of companies have come up. I know of one big company, Zerodha, and they have made huge difference in the way trading is done in India in maybe last 10 years, if I'm not wrong, Tanmay.
Yeah.
बताइए, ठीक है ना?
No,
And
Zarurat is the
so
benchmark.
because of competition, because of so many players coming in on daily basis, it becomes very challenging for a person who are involved in those kind of teams to improve the user experience. Because आप सबको पता है, today it's just swipe right, swipe left. ठीक है, वो हम उस लाइफ स्टाइल में जी रहे हैं. तो इफ़ यू डोंट लाइक द सर्विसेज, योर कस्टमर विल हॉप ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट सर्विस प्रोवाइडर. सो he is doing a very challenging job of keeping the customers of such a big company happy by creating such kind of user interface. That's a very challenging profile. अच्छा, एक चीज़ आपने तन में कवर नहीं की. What are your plans for future? Like, you would like to stick with this particular thing, or are you planning to do MBA or GMAT? बाहर जाके कुछ आप करना सोच रहे हैं? And what is the reason why you are thinking that way?
In terms of academics, I think yeah, I will definitely do an MBA. Now, whether I do that MBA from India or from outside, that I'm yet to decide. But yeah, for sure, I think I have another 2 years of study left in me. Once that is out of the way, then let's see. I mean, I'm not really sure about the fintech industry now, having worked in this for 2 years. But if I have to stay in fintech, I wouldn't have a problem. I would enjoy doing that.
Okay.
So you can say I've found a bottom line for myself, in other words.
ओके गुड। चलिए अब हम लोग आते हैं जो स्टूडेंट के पर्सपेक्टिव से बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. सो आई लाइक यू ऑलरेडी नो अबाउट माई बैकग्राउंड. सो I run my own coaching institute in Vadodara, which is Infinity Scholar Hub, and I look after mentoring of 100 to 150 students every year from class 8 to class 10th. So that is what my job profile is. And पढ़ाते हम सब से सेम ही है. फिजिक्स मैं सेम पढ़ाता हूँ, बायोलॉजी केमिस्ट्री सब सेम ही है. इट्स नॉट डिफरेंट. एवरी ईयर वी आर टीचिंग द सेम थिंग. बट वॉट चैलेंजेस वी आर फेसिंग इज इन टर्म्स ऑफ द काइंड ऑफ डाइवर्सिटी इन स्टूडेंट्स. हर किसी की प्रिपरेशन नीड्स अलग अलग हैं. ठीक है, कुछ बच्चे बहुत एकेडमिकली साउंड होते हैं लाइक तन्मय. सो फॉर देम इट कुड बी अ केक वॉक. ओनली थिंग इज़ कि उनको थोड़ा सा रेजिमेंट को, डिसिप्लिन को मेंटेन करते हुए प्रिपरेशन करनी है. कुछ बच्चों के लिए और भी दूसरे चैलेंजेस होते हैं लाइक डिस्ट्रैक्शन, एंड दे आर नॉट वेरी क्लियर वेदर दे रियली वांट टू गेट इनटू इंजीनियरिंग और मेडिसिन फॉर दैट मैटर. तो I believe what this webinar is going to deliver is that जो बच्चे serious हैं about getting into a good premier college of India in engineering, तो उनको कैसे prepare करना चाहिए, and does it really help if they start early, like class 8 से start कर दें तो वो better रहता है, और whether they can start from 11th also. कैसे आपने कैसे prepare किया, and based on your experience what do you think, क्या करना चाहिए?
So in terms of, firstly starting early, I don't think that it's really necessary that you start from 9th standard, because now I've seen that coachings are taking students for class 6th as well, which is definitely not the ideal case. The only problem with starting in 12th is that the student I feel might face is that there would be some students who are academically more sound than that particular student. If the student is able to counter that, then I think it should be smooth sailing for any student. And one word that you particularly use, discipline. I think clearing JEE requires a lot of discipline and a lot of smart study. I always felt that it's not really important to study for 12 hours, 14 hours a day, but instead if you focus your attention towards topics where you're say weak, where you need more polishing. Some topics are such that you want to be 100% at it, so that any question thrown at you, you'll be able to get through it. So if you focus on certain key areas, you identify where the problems lie, then I think that is the best way to do it, and that comes from discipline. Unless you self-analyze your performance, it'll be really difficult for any student to just go out there and study every day for 12 hours, because it becomes mentally tiring after a point of time. So having that discipline and uh, giving yourself ample recreation also helps a lot in the long run. But again, there has to be a balance that has to be maintained. You cannot be all recreation, no study, or all study, no recreation. Neither of them are going to work. So I maintain discipline. I used to analyze my weak areas, and I especially used to look at the topics by the number of pages, in talking in crude terms, how many pages this particular topic is, and I used to just go for the questions of that particular topic. So what really motivated me to keep going was by the number of questions that I was able to solve on a daily basis. I always had a target that, okay, I've solved say 100 questions today. Tomorrow I have to solve say 110, 120. While at the same time I have to analyze what mistakes I'm making, study for the next topics. All that is included. But having these certain day-to-day goals really keeps you motivated and keeps you going.
ये सभी शेयर करता हूँ कि डोंट टेक लॉट ऑफ प्रेशर, और डोंट गेट योरसेल्फ स्ट्रेस्ड आउट विद कि मुझे आईआईटी में जाना है इसलिए मेरे को बहुत पढ़ना है. ठीक है, सो दैट्स अ मिसकॉन्सेप्शन इन मोस्ट ऑफ दी स्टूडेंट्स. आपको अगर आप स्टडीज़ फंडामेंटली कर रहे हैं, समझ के कर रहे हैं, एंड अ प्रॉपर गोल सेटिंग के साथ में, लॉन्ग टर्म गोल, शॉर्ट टर्म गोल, वीकली गोल्स, डेली गोल्स, इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर like how many questions you are going to attempt, how many papers you are going to give in 1 month, और उसके लिए processes हैं, and for that your coaching institute or school teachers, they are there to mentor you. what is expected from you is that कि आप वो जो process है 2 साल का 11th-12th का to prepare effectively, because he said that there is a lot of competition. It's not that कि आप intelligent नहीं है या आप में potential नहीं है, it's that कि इंडिया में competition इतना ज़्यादा है कि you have to study very consistently for 2 years and do it systematically what is required. ठीक है, it's not like a set examination where you have a qualifying score. यहाँ पे आपको क्वालिफाई भी करना है और आपको टॉप 30,000, टॉप 10,000, टॉप 5,000 में भी आना है. So that's the tricky part. Otherwise, what I could make out is that he was very disciplined in terms of managing his time and also enjoying his life, because I have seen him to be very joyful in those 2 years. I think I taught you 11th and 12th, तो मैं देखा है he was very happy. मतलब खुश रहता था, पढ़ता भी था, enjoy भी करता था life, और he had a very good circle of friends. वो बहुत important है, क्योंकि दोस्तों के बिना लाइफ बहुत ड्राई है. ठीक है, तो आपके पास एक अच्छा सेट ऑफ सीरियस इन द सेंस, मतलब दे हैव द सेम एम्बिशन एज गेटिंग इनटू आईआईटी, और उसी सर्कल में अगर आप उस एनवायरनमेंट में आप एक अच्छा इकोसिस्टम में काम करते हैं तो रिजल्ट्स ऑटोमेटिकली आते हैं. अदर 2 things that I could make out from his discussion is that हमको मॉक टेस्ट, प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट देने हैं, वीकली टारगेट्स या डेली टारगेट्स. बाद में लास्ट टाइम में हम डेली टारगेट्स पे आ जाते हैं. वीकली टारगेट्स फॉलो करने, एंड जस्ट गिविंग द एग्जाम इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प यू आउट. यू हैव टू एनालाइज द मिस्टेक्स दैट यू कमिटेड सो दैट यू डोंट, ठीक है, गेट यूज टू डूइंग सिली मिस्टेक्स इन द सेम टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. तो ज़्यादा क्वेश्चंस करने से बेनिफिट ये होता है कि आपको एक्सपोजर मिलता है, यू गेट टू अप्लाई कॉन्सेप्ट्स अ लॉट, एंड डूइंग मिस्टेक्स ऑल्सो इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. जितनी मिस्टेक्स आप मॉक टेस्ट में कर लेंगे, द चांसेस आर दैट यू विल मेक लेस मिस्टेक्स इन द फाइनल एग्जाम. ठीक है, तो मॉक टेस्ट के लिए हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर ही लिया है कि इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू गिव लॉट ऑफ मॉक टेस्ट एज पर द प्रिस्क्राइब्ड एंड प्रॉपर प्लान, क्योंकि मॉक टेस्ट से ही आपको आपकी वीकनेसेस के बारे में पता चलेगा. तो जिसमें आप स्ट्रॉन्ग है दैट्स ओके, पर जिसमें आप वीक हैं उसको आप कैसे मॉडरेटली स्ट्रॉन्ग या वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग बना सकते हैं. फॉर दैट यू नीड टू एक्सपीरियंस योर टाइम मैनेजमेंट, योर स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट ड्यूरिंग दी मॉक टेस्ट. तो ये सब चीज
so mock test really prepare you, you know, for the exam environment as well. So for JEE mains and advanced, you're going to have to sit for 3 hours, 6 hours and solve the questions in a very stiff environment, so to say. Now what mock test also does is that it mentally prepares you that after a point of time you don't start feeling that 3 hours is a lot. You just feel, okay, this is a breeze, this will pass away. And giving as many mock tests is going to help, because at the end of it, JEE is not just about hard work, it's about how smartly you have designed your examination strategy. You need to have your order clear, which subject you want to solve first, which kind of questions you want to tackle first, where do you want to take your risks, where do you want to, you know, play it safe. So questions like +4, -2 you would generally leave for the end. I'm just talking about myself here, but say questions of +4, -2 types, you would leave them towards the end, wherein you decide based on how your performance has been, you take that risk or not.
गुड. मतलब आपका एक तो मॉक टेस्ट देने से टेम्परामेंट सेट हो जाता है. ठीक है, टू परफॉर्म इन अ स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन. वी थिंक इट इज़ स्ट्रेसफुल बिकॉज वी आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड वेल. ठीक है, अगर मैं आपको कह दूं कि आपको लेट्स से इधर जाना है या इस आदमी से मिलना है, एंड यू आर नॉट वेरी क्लियर हु दैट पर्सन इज़ और क्या डिस्कशन करना है, तो यू विल बी टोटली स्ट्रेस्ड आउट. बट अगर आपको पहले से एजेंडा पता है, ठीक है, आप पहले से मिल चुके हैं, उसका बैकग्राउंड स्टडी कर चुके हैं, यू विल फील कॉन्फिडेंट डूइंग दैट. द सेम फैशन मॉक टेस्ट इज़ एग्जैक्टली सिमुलेटेड टेस्ट फॉर JEE मेन और JEE एडवांस. तो आप जितने टेस्ट देते हैं उस टेस्ट से आपको आपकी सब्जेक्ट की स्ट्रेंथ तो पता चलती ही है, कौन से स्ट्रॉन्ग एरियाज़ है, कौन से वीक एरियाज़ है. प्लस आपको ये भी पता चलता है कि आपका टाइम मैनेजमेंट कैसा है, आपकी टेस्ट टेकिंग स्ट्रैटेजी सही है कि नहीं है, सब्जेक्ट की सीक्वेंस क्या होनी चाहिए. कुछ बच्चों के लिए फिज़िक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स अच्छी प्रॉपर सीक्वेंस होती है, कुछ बच्चे केमिस्ट्री स्टार्ट करके फिर फिज़िक्स फिर मैथ करते हैं. तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर इंडिविजुअल स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेस, यू मेक योर ओन test taking strategy, and that you can't make simply by 5-10 minutes. You have to
No, takes
give
time.
you have to give at least like I guess 130 150 mock tests in the last 2-3 months. तो क्या है, आपको एग्जाम का फिर कुछ फियर नहीं रहेगा, because you have been through that, your body has been through that kind of experience of sitting for 3 hours together for an exam. ठीक है, तो वेरी गुड पॉइंट. अब तन्मय एक चीज़ मैं पूछूंगा आपसे, इट इज़ अ वेरी पर्सनल क्वेश्चन, and I would like you to share what has been your biggest challenge so far, and or is it still a big challenge for you, and have you overcome that, and how
So
did you
just
overcome?
just
Yeah.
1 second, sir. Yeah, so sorry. So biggest challenge, right?
आपका बिगेस्ट
Uh,
चैलेंज क्या है अभी तक का?
so biggest challenge I would say would be my 10th standard board exams.
अच्छा.
That was a time when I had achieved nothing. So the first achievement I think always is the biggest. And 10th standard I was in ICSC board. Pre-boards 1 and 2 hadn't really gone so well, and there was a lot of pressure on me. Like, I mean, after 10th, you have to get serious about what you're going to do in life. So, 10th standard boards really presented a tough challenge for me. And once my board exams were over, then NTSE results came through, and then board exam results came through pretty well. And overall, I think it ended really well. So, yeah, biggest challenge I would say would be 10th standard.
सही बात है एकदम. मतलब कुछ बच्चों को ऐसा लगेगा कि सर इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, 10th बोर्ड तो कोई भी क्लियर कर लेता है. ठीक है, जनरली लोगों को ऐसा लगता है. सो इट द चैलेंज और द डेफिनेशन ऑफ चैलेंज एंड और सक्सेस इज़ वेरी डिफरेंट फॉर डिफरेंट पर्सन. तो अगर आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे टू स्कोर वेरी वेल इन योर स्कूल एग्ज़ाम्स, ठीक है, मैं अपना एग्जाम्पल लेता हूँ. टिल 8th स्टैंडर्ड आई वॉज वेरी एवरेज स्टूडेंट. आई यूज़ टू गेट अराउंड 72%. ठीक है, और मुझे ऐसा लगता था लाइफ लॉन्ग इतने ही आते हैं, दिस इज़ द बेस्ट दैट आई कैन गेट. बट हुआ क्या कि 8th स्टैंडर्ड में बिकॉज ऑफ सम रीज़न आई वॉज बेड रिडन फॉर लास्ट 45 days, एंड वन नंदी मैडम केम इन टू माई लाइफ. शी प्रिपेयर्ड मी वेरी वेल. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि वो दिन भर मेरे साथ रहती थी, बट वीक में 3-4 दिन वो आती थी, एंड शी यूज़ टू स्पेंड टाइम विद मी फॉर 1 hour. और मैंने सिर्फ आई जस्ट एन्जॉयड स्टडिंग विद हर. वो जिस तरह से पढ़ाती थी, जो असाइनमेंट्स देती थी, जो प्रैक्टिस कराती थी, मेरे को वो प्रोसेस बहुत अच्छा लगने लगा. एंड देन सडनली यू वोंट बिलीव, मतलब मैं तो बिल्कुल बिलीव नहीं किया था कि 160 स्टूडेंट्स, 4 सेक्शंस हैं हमारे स्कूल में क्लास 8 में, एंड आई केम सेकेंड. And the whole of the 8th standards teachers and students, they were shocked to hear my name, क्योंकि तब ऐसा था स्कूल के अंदर, they used to give the result and they announce the top 3 students on stage. उसके पहले रिपोर्ट कार्ड भी नहीं मिलती थी. तो मेरे तो पाँव जम गए थे कि ये क्या हो गया, गलती से नाम तो नहीं आ गया. So I was feeling happy at the same time embarrassed कि ये क्या हो गया है. तो मेरे लिए वो बहुत बड़ा एक that was a moment of achievement for me, which I think I overcame the challenge of being bedridden for 45 days and then coming up with flying colors. तो लाइफ के अंदर एक छोटा सा मोमेंट होता है जो आपको फील कराता है कि यस, नाउ यू आर ऑल्सो केपेबल, यू ऑल्सो हैव द पोटेंशियल टू डू एकेडमिकली वेल. तो वैसे ही तन्मय के केस में व्हाट आई फील इज दैट कि 10th बोर्ड वॉज हिज टर्निंग पॉइंट. ही गॉट कॉन्फिडेंस कि यस, मैं 10th बोर्ड में अगर अच्छा स्कोर कर सकता हूँ, so why not in JEE Main, JEE Advanced, and then he brought that kind of discipline into his life. Am I right, Tanmay?
Right, sir.
ठीक है, अब चलिए मुझे एक चीज़ बताइए. आपके लाइफ में अभी तक बहुत सारे टीचर्स, बहुत सारे मेंटर्स एकेडमिक फ्रंट में भी मिले हैं, और आपके प्रोफेशनल फ्रंट में भी you may have someone who you look after to for taking or seeking some professional help. So what do you think is the importance of a mentor in anybody's life?
So a mentor is a really important figure in anybody's life. Any person you pick in the world, they are sure to have a mentor. What a mentor essentially does is all that energy that a person has, all that motivation, all that uh, determination that a person could have, a mentor helps you channel that into getting effective results, right? Because they've probably been through the same experience, they've helped other people get there. So mentor plays a really important role, and it's not necessary that you have just one mentor throughout life. You can have multiple mentors in life. You can, at a particular point of time, also you can have multiple mentors in life. So I remember in my case in 11th and 12th standard, so the our maths teacher Chandra sir and later on Himanshu sir as well. So both of you sir, you were my mentors. And at home, I used to seek advice from my father. So essentially, I had three mentors going through 11th and 12th. And I think that really, pushed me in a way that I used to get the best of all three so that I could choose what suits me and get the best result possible.
चंद्रा सर की आपने याद दिला दी मेरे को. तो he was when I was teaching the batch of Azam batch, I think, in FITG. So Tanmay was one of the student in that batch, and we used to interact with Chandra sir a lot about the progress of Tanmay. ठीक है, तो mentors भी आपस में भी डिस्कस करते हैं as far as this coaching industry is concerned. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं सिर्फ तन्मय से बात कर रहा हूँ and I'm not in touch with Chandra sir. We used to make common strategy so that he can perform equally well in all the three subjects. और चंद्रा बोला है आपने चंद्रा सर, तो मैं आज इवनिंग में उनसे बात करता हूँ, ठीक है. एंड लेट्स कनेक्ट ओवर कॉल, कॉन्फ्रेंस कॉल करते हैं, ठीक है. Importance of goal setting and weekly targets. So we have emphasized a lot on this in previous discussion. Goal setting is important based on your interests, your aptitude, your personal aims, ambitions. You set goals. तो गोल्स लॉन्ग टर्म, जैसे तन्मय की अगर हम बात करें, करेक्ट मी तन्मय इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, तो ही सेट कि उसको बोर्ड एग्जाम्स में अच्छा स्कोर करना है, उसको साइंस फील्ड में जाना है, साइंस में भी स्पेसिफिकली इंजीनियरिंग में जाना है, और इंजीनियरिंग के लिए देन ही सेट टारगेट फॉर जेई एडवांस एंड जेई मेन. तो कौन से कॉलेज में जाना है, उसके कौन से एग्ज़ाम के प्रिपरेशन के लिए क्या स्ट्रेटजी है, कौन सा इंस्टीट्यूट है, वो डिसाइड किया, ठीक है. बट जस्ट हैविंग अ गोल डजेंट हेल्प यू, ठीक है. यहाँ लिखा भी है, गोल विदाउट अ प्लान इज़ जस्ट अ विश, ठीक है. सपने देखने जैसा है वो, और सपने देखने ही चाहिए, ठीक है. आजकल तो अभी नया एक वो भी आया है, आई डोंट रिमेंबर क्या, कोटा फैक्ट्री और समथिंग, तो उसमें वो बोलते हैं कि सपने मत देखो, अगर आईआईटी में जाना है क्या करना चाहिए, कुछ बोलते हैं, बहुत अच्छे से टर्म है. तन्मय याद आ रहा है कुछ?
सो मैंने एक्चुअली देखा नहीं है.
अच्छा, मैंने भी शायद याद नहीं आ रहा. तो अगर आपका कोई गोल है लाइफ के अंदर, ठीक है, एंड यू जस्ट डे ड्रीमिंग अबाउट इट एंड यू आर नॉट मेकिंग अ प्रॉपर साइंटिफिक प्लान and you do not execute that plan, revise that plan, review that plan, it will be like, even in spite of having a lot of potential, you will not crack it, you will not get the best out of that exam or that college. तो गोल सेटिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि वो लाइफ में फोकस लेके आती है, डिस्ट्रैक्शंस अवॉइड करने में हेल्प करती है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, ठीक है ना. उसके बाद में फिर आपको आपके जो प्लान्स हैं उसको आपको लॉन्ग टर्म, शॉर्ट टर्म, वीकली, डेली लेवल पे आपको ब्रेक डाउन करना है. And in that case you have to take the help of your mentors, ठीक है. This is my view of how and what is the importance of a goal setting in this, ठीक है. एक्चुअली मुझे आपसे पूछना चाहिए था, पर मेरे मन में जो था मैंने बोल दिया, क्योंकि टीचर को रोकना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. चलिए, एनीवेज, नाउ अब आप बताइए कि what do you think is.
So in goal setting, I have one important thing to add. So having a backup, to every goal. Say, okay, now the major goal, say for example, would be JEE Advance. Now in clearing JEE Advance, you need to have backups also in your hand. So when I talk about backups, what do I mean? I mean different colleges, non-IITs, non-NITs. So BitSat is one. Then KVPY, sir, KVPY, what it did, it got me direct line for admission through two ICERs. IIT Pune, IIT Bangalore. Now, all these are again reputed science colleges. And I was pretty sure that, okay, once KVPY is clear, this college is clear for me. So now the journey, the goal can only get better. So a goal cannot be that you directly jump to the 10th step. You have to go step by step. There you have to set your bottom line at every single step, and then you have to move forward. Again, there are regional exams as well. MHCT was the case in ours, Maharashtra Common Entrance Test. So again, that helped me set a bottom line for myself that okay, this college is secure. And all of these are what really helped me score a great rank in JE Advanced, because I did not have the fear of not being able to get anywhere, because I already had certain things set for myself.
So what he's saying is कि आपको जब आप गोल सेटिंग करते हैं ना तो आपको बहुत कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव वे में करनी चाहिए. यू शुड नॉट बी रिजिड कि मुझे बस आईआईटी में जाना, अगर आईआईटी में नहीं हुआ तो मेरे लाइफ में मैं और कुछ नहीं करूँगा, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. सो व्हेन ही वाज प्रिपेयरिंग ही वाज वेरी क्लियर कि इन केस अनफॉर्चुनेटली आईआईटीज़ में नहीं होता है तो ही हैड सम अदर प्लान्स एज वेल. ठीक है, तो दैट्स अ वेरी गुड वैलिड पॉइंट. एंड ही ऑल्सो गिव यू एन आइडिया कि KVPY से भी ऑप्शंस खुले थे. तो आई थिंक ही गॉट सम स्कॉलरशिप और मे बी स्कॉलरशिप तो नहीं मिलती है इफ़ यू जॉइन.
KPY was like to get a rank, you are eligible for admission to ICERTS.
And you get certificate.
Yeah,
and
the KVPY scholar thing.
Yeah, and if some of these students get scholarship if they continue to in a proper science graduation course. If you join a engineering college then you are not entitled for that scholarship. चलिए ठीक है. अब ये बताइए, ये तो बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. ठीक है. मतलब अभी जो पेरेंट्स आते हैं आफ्टर दिस, स्पेशली आफ्टर दिस कोरोना लॉकडाउन, देयर मेन कंसर्न इज़ कि सर प्लीज़, हाथ जोड़ के बोलते हैं सर प्लीज़ इसका डिस्ट्रैक्शन कैसे अवॉइड करना बताइए. एंड आई ऑल्सो फाइंड वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू आंसर दैट, क्योंकि ये एक एडिक्शन की तरह हो गया है बच्चों के अंदर. दे नो इट इज़ रॉन्ग बट स्टिल दे आर डूइंग इट. आई वॉज लिसनिंग टू सम great speaker Simon Sinek, and he told that when you are on social media or when you are playing games, it is as equivalent to doing gambling or cigarette पीते हैं लोग या alcohol लेते हैं. So it releases some kind of chemical, dopamine. That same chemical is released when you are on social media and all that, and that is wasting lot of not only the time but maybe the future of that particular child. तो बच्चे डिस्ट्रैक्शन कैसे अवॉइड करें, हाउ दे रिमेन फोकस्ड. क्योंकि मुझे अब ऐसा लग रहा है फ्यूचर में आप एकेडमिकली साउंड है, पोटेंशियल है, सब कुछ है, ठीक है, बट अगर आपका फोकस क्वेश्चन नहीं है, ठीक है, द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज विल बी नाउ फोकस. है ना, अभी तक हमने इमोशनल क्वेश्चन पढ़ा है, इंटेलिजेंस क्वेश्चन पढ़ा है, बट फ्यूचर में FQ आ जाएगा. ठीक है. दिस इज़ माई बिलीफ कि अगर आपका FQ अच्छा नहीं है तो यू विल नॉट बी प्रॉब्ली वेरी सक्सेसफुल. तो व्हाट आर योर टिप्स, हाउ कैन यू गाइड द स्टूडेंट्स टू अवॉइड डिस्ट्रैक्शन?
So I'm a little old school with regards to this topic, so a lot of students are probably going to hate me for what I'm going to say. I would say that जो डब्बा फोन आते थे ना नोकिया वाले, that's best way to avoid any such distraction, because whatever in the new technology you try child mode or anything, a child is always going to find ways to get through that. So even in my case, so my father had very strict rules for me that, and this is one of the non-negotiable rules, that you are not going to get a phone. And I think that is what really propelled me, that again it served as a motivation for me that I have to do well so that my father will give me this phone. So I took it in a positive sense, thankfully, and it really worked out well. So distractions are, of course, even other than phone, there are going to be a lot of other distractions. I think a lot of classes now happen online, so that has opened up another set of distractions for the students. But at the end of the day, sir, I mean, the student also has to realize that there is a right time for everything. Okay, there's a bucket full of entertainment that you can extract from your cell phone. Either you use it today or you use it after 12th standard throughout your life then. So it's at the end of the day, it's a student's choice.
कंट्रोवर्शियल टॉपिक है, इसमें जितना ज़्यादा बात करेंगे स्टूडेंट्स आर गोइंग टू हेट मोर,
Exactly, sir.
एंड द नीड ऑफ द आर फॉर लास्ट ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन कि हमको ऑनलाइन जाना पड़ा,
हाँ,
ठीक है ना, बट नाउ स्पेशली द स्टूडेंट कम्युनिटी हैज़ रियलाइज्ड कि ये नहीं करना चाहिए,
yeah.
ठीक है. लेट्स सी. सो डू वी हैव एनी क्वेश्चन, एनी स्टूडेंट हु वुड लाइक टू आस्क तन्मय? Okay, so we are done for today's webinar. I would like to thank Tanmay for being with us. He gave his time on a weekend, so I must thank him. And you owe me a treat. जब भी आप बड़ौदा आओ या मैं बॉम्बे आऊँगा, I'll come and drop by your place.
Definitely, sir.
ठीक है. Thank you so much for being
Yes,
with
sir.
us. Thank you. All the best. चलिए. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Bye.